Dance with me, little bitch, I know you want to. I can't see. Throw 3-5 in the front to if you need.
What is going on, guys? Back with another daily podcast. You know your boy stays putting out that awesome story every single day, commentating on the latest news. It's For the Love of the Sports podcast. Let's go, baby. And big news today. Big news today. Philadelphia Eagles hiring Nick Sirianni as head coach of the head football team. Wow. Surprising news. Very surprising news. And I think it's a good signing. I'm a big fan of Nick. I think he's done a great job with Indianapolis before this. You know, he was the Indianapolis Colts offensive coordinator. And I think they picked the right guy, the Eagles, because, you know, there was a big sense, you know, the kind of the race narrowed down to either Nick Sirianni or, you know, New England Patriots offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. And like I said, you know, me being a Bronco fan, I know exactly how McDaniels is. And, you know, I'm really not impressed by Josh McDaniels. It's so bizarre because he's gotten so many opportunities. And remember the time he backed out, you know, when he got the job? So Josh McDaniels, after that, I can't stand the guy. I think that was just a poor move that he did. And, you know, why do people want to hire him? They had one of the league's worst offenses this year. Josh McDaniels was good because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady is the one who made him good. I mean, you can say what you want. Oh, his play calling is the best, this and that. No way. Like I said, I seen him for years as a Denver head coach. He sucked. He did a terrible job. He can't, you know, some guys just can't be head coaches. They don't have it in them to be a head coach. Josh McDaniels, in my opinion, does not have it in him to be a head coach. And the Eagles have some serious decisions to make because who is going to be their quarterback this year? Is it going to be Carson Wentz? Or is it going to be Jalen Hurts? And, you know, it seems to me, you know, it looks like it's going to be Carson Wentz because I think they chose Carson Wentz over Doug Peterson. I think that one of them had to go. And obviously Peterson was the one to go. And who knows, you know, they might be done with Carson Wentz in Philadelphia. But I think one of them has to go, either Hurts or Carson Wentz, because – you know, I don't think it's good to have a quarterback, you know, with a guy breathing down his neck the entire season. I mean, we've seen this year so many games where Carson Wentz was playing poorly, and he looked like he was, like, checked out of the games because he looked like he was almost playing nervous, scared, because he knew he had Jalen Hurts behind him trying to start. And I don't think that's a good idea for a team because it creates, like, havoc. And I don't think one guy can excel knowing that there's a possibility of him being benched every 2 games. I mean, watching the Eagles this year was unreal because so many games people were like, they got to bench him for Hurts. They got to bench him for Hurts. And then we already know what happened at the end of the season with the embarrassing benching of Jalen Hurts in pace of Nate Sudfeld. What a disgrace that was. I mean, that was the biggest disgrace I've seen in football in years. I mean, you're going to actually tell me that they didn't purposely try to lose that game? That's another story. Of course they tried to purposely lose the game. That's one of the reasons I think also Doug Peterson got fired, because it was such a disgrace to the league. The Eagles were like, all right, we got to get rid of this guy because this is embarrassing. They were like getting destroyed by the media because of that. You know, the Giants missed out on the playoffs. The Redskins ended up getting in. We already know what happened with that game. They got destroyed by Tampa. Terrible. And, you know, Jeffrey Lurie apparently, you know, is a big fan of Carson Wentz. And, you know, he's under quote saying, you know, Carson Wentz struggles in 2020 were described as very fixable. And, you know, they probably are. They probably are fixable. And, you know, I actually thought Jalen Hurts played really well. And it's so hard to judge these two guys because the offense they had was so bad, so pathetic. And it's such a horrible job Philadelphia's done drafting the last few years. I mean, my God, they had the chance to take Justin Jefferson, and they alluded to another receiver. Why? Everybody knew Justin Jefferson was going to be good. Everybody. before the draft. Everybody was literally saying Justin Jefferson is going to be one of the best receivers in this draft. And look what he did. He ended up being by far the best one. By far. I mean, they traded Stephon Diggs, Minnesota Vikings, and replaced him with that guy, Jefferson. He's a rookie. He had 1,400 yards. Broke so many rookie records. Broke Randy Moss's rookie records. One of the best all time. That was a huge mistake the Eagles made. Simple as that. And when you look at it, it's, this team shouldn't be the worst in their division or the second worst. They should be number one, in my opinion. Washington and Dallas, the Giants, these teams aren't good teams. The Eagles aren't that removed from a Super Bowl title. They're really not. I mean, very similar guys. Their receivers are terrible. Jalen Reagor could be good next year. I don't give up on him yet. I mean, they should have drafted Jefferson, but Rager's decent. They got to get rid of Wentz or Hurts because it's not going to make sense having both of them on the books. Because what is Hurts going to just leave in a year anyways when they decide to play Carson Wentz again when his contract's up and be like, no, I'm not going to sit here and be a backup quarterback. I'm leaving. And why would anyone blame him? He wants to start. Carson Wentz wants to start. He already said he's not in favor of being a backup. And, I think this is a good signing for the Eagles. I know this was, Nick, I think, is going to do a great job. I think he's going to do a great job. And I think they're going to run their offense very similar to how the Indianapolis Colts ran their offense. And, in the latter part of that year, they were running ground and pound team. I mean, they have Miles Sanders in Philadelphia. He's a terrific running back. Very, very capable of having a similar season that Jonathan Taylor had in Indianapolis. Great rookie running back as well. That's what I think. I think that, this is a good signing for the Eagles. I think that Doug Peterson was way over his head. I think that he's been horrible since they won that Super Bowl. I mean, he did do fantastic in that year. I mean, he played a big part in that championship. But other than that, I think he played horrible. I mean, I think he coached terribly. Terrible. I mean, they had one of the worst offenses in the league. Play calling was horrible. I mean, granted, they had a 46-39 record under him, and they won a Super Bowl. And, he was a part of 3 straight playoff appearances. The Eagles were. But they went 4-11-1 this year in his 5th season with the team. And Jeffrey Lurie seen enough. Carson Wentz seen enough. And that was it. It didn't take much for this guy to get the axe. After the way the season ended with that game, they had to make a decision. And I think they chose the right one. But I think that this is a good signing for the Eagles. Like I said, Nick Sirianni. I think that's how you say his name. I'm not even sure. I'm pretty sure that's how you say his name. But I'm a big fan of the signing. We'll see what happens. But I think it was a good decision, and I think it probably makes them close to a playoff team next year. I think that they're going to make a lot of improvement, the Eagles. I'm a big fan of young coaches. He's only 39. You can see it as a player almost. These old coaches are like outdated almost in the league. Outdated. They don't even know how to coach a game anymore. It's like Jeff Fisher. Remember that guy? The guy was coaching like it was the 80s still, running the ball every play, not doing anything different offensively. Certain coaches are just terrible. I don't think that Nick Sirianni is going to be one of them. I think he's going to be good. So that's that, guys. That is the podcast for, this topic. Like I said, Philadelphia Eagles hired Nick Sirianni as their head coach. I think they made the right decision over Josh McDaniels. And that's that. I appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. I appreciate all the feedback you guys give me.